Hey y'all, welcome to Art Lounge part 24 of the project stream, not drawing comics. Whoops. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the exciting news that I was talking about, which is the launch of my Patreon page. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I would like to continue streaming. But for those of you who are just tuning in, this is the first episode of Art Lounge for you. I just want to give you guys a little taste of what's on the Patreon page. There's 6 tiers altogether. They're all different. So I'm just going to give you guys a quick overview of what's out there. So we got tier 1. This is the official patron. Once you become a member, you're part of the Patreon only community. You will get your name listed in the credits as a thank you for keeping the stream going, keeping our lounge going. You'll also get access to Discord server where everybody from all social media, since I do advertise on multiple platforms, will come together to one channel, and you guys can interact with each other, get to know each other, talk about anything under the sun, talk about art that you like, share content. Discord is designed in a way where you could drop images, you could drop links, you could drop videos. I think I'm not 100% sure on that one. But yeah, it's just a chat room basically for everybody from all sorts of social media to come into one room and just interact with each other, build a community, build an interesting, diverse community. Then we got tier 2, all access patrons. So in this tier, you get everything in the previous tier, but you will also get exclusive content. So things that I've never posted on social media, things that I have posted with little peeks here and there, but not the full image. You guys will have access to it. You will see the finished product. You will see the exclusive content on here. And you'll also get access to work in progress behind scenes. You will, and all the previous tiers as well. You'll get access to the Discord server. You guys can interact with everybody there. You'll get your name listed in the credits, and you'll be part of the Patreon-only community. Then we got tier 3, which is the critique submissions tier. So if you want to get some tips and helpful hints and just to give you some sort of direction or idea about where you can go with your work, this is a perfect tier for you. It's $15 per month. At the beginning, for now, while it grows, there are no limits to how many times you can submit it. So you could do some work, send it in the next day, get some critique on it. It's not going to be too long. If you want long critiques, if you want more personalized critiques, stay tuned. I will talk about that in a little bit. But here, yeah, you could just send in your work through the Discord server. Once you join this tier, you'll get access to it, and you could send me a PM with your image. There's some requirements there, just to avoid small images or pixelated images. This is a recommendation for you. Should be in this range when you send in the work. And it's going to be good for you to get in the habit, when you're drawing. And something that I overlooked as well when I was drawing, I didn't really pay attention to the resolution. I didn't pay attention to the dimensions. And at times when it called for me to submit, I had to redo a lot of stuff. I had to rework some stuff. So just a little helpful tip there for you guys. And also, it is slightly a requirement. It doesn't have to be exact, but within this range and not smaller. It could be in either direction, landscape or portrait. Doesn't matter as long as it's in the thousands. So yeah, once you send me that, I will do a critique. It's going to be every Friday for 2 hours. I'm going to be critiquing work. And until the submissions are there, I'm going to be streaming, just like I've always streamed before. There's going to be a change to the times I'm going to be doing at night now. Unfortunately, I got other projects. I'd like to continue streaming maybe at some point in the future. It's going to come back to just being both in the afternoon and in the evening. But starting Monday, it's only going to be evening from 8 until 10. You guys can check out in the past broadcasts of the video where I talk about the Patreon launch. I talk about the schedule change in depth. I give you guys more direction, more information of what's to come, and a better idea of the Patreon page. Also, make sure that you include, for this tier, for the tier 3 critique submission, include your social media. So if you got an Instagram, if you got a DeviantArt, it's a great opportunity for you to promote that as well. I'll include that when I'm critiquing your work, so that people could go onto your page and see what else you got there. So live critique and promotion, artist submission Discord channel, where only people in a tier 3 will get this channel. You guys can interact with each other. You could share resources. You could talk about your process. You could talk about it pretty much anything. It's just another room for people in this tier to connect with each other. And you get the other benefits as well. Then we got the Kickstarter patron. This is $25 per month. I will be doing a high resolution digital portrait of you on stream. And that's going to be on Thursdays. It's going to substitute what's going to happen on Thursdays in the evening. So for 2 hours on Thursdays, I'm going to be painting Kickstarter patrons on live stream. Masks, makeup, glasses, expressive face expressions, hats, and accessories are all highly encouraged. It's going to make the stream fun. It's going to make it interesting for everybody. Yeah, it's not required. You could just send me a regular photo of you from your head down to your chest, or about halfway to the chest. And yeah, this is what you'll be getting. You'll be getting a high resolution digital painting of you, and pretty much all the other benefits from the previous tiers. Then we got tier 5, artist promotion. So if you're an intermediate or advanced artist, you got a collection of work you've exhibited, which isn't the requirement, but just to say, you've exhibited, you have performed, depending on what your art field is, you've toured, whatever it is. Great chance for you guys to promote your work, funnel in the views from this channel to yours and to your website, and whatever else you got there. So you would get 5-minute promotion. And as I mentioned, it's not required to be like, touring and doing all this stuff. As I mentioned, it's intermediate, advanced artists. If you got a body of work, if you got a bunch of stuff that you want to show, you've been working on it for some time, put in a submission. I will check it out. I'll look at it, and then you could join this tier, and I'll feature your 5-minute video on the stream. And I'll also promote you prior to starting the stream on all the social media platforms. So you'll get pretty good exposure from there, as well as the stream as well. I encourage you guys, and the requirement is to send in a video of your work. So if you're an illustrator, take some time, learn a little bit of iMovie or some easy video editing tool, or you could even screen record if you got work on there. You could figure out a creative way to have a video, and there's more detail about that on the page. So visit that, read through it. If you got any questions, ask me on the stream. Send me a message on any of the social media links that are posted on the Twitch channel, and I'll write you back. We could figure it out through there. Quick important note for getting selected: please subscribe to tier 1 first. Don't subscribe to this tier, pay $25, and then have to find out that your work might not be suitable for the stream. This way you're only paying $2. You could cancel it after. So just send me a private message on Discord. You'll get access to Discord. You could send me a private message on there with your social media link, username for the social media. All that info is on here as well. And I'll take a look through, and if it works for the stream, I'll let you know. You could come on to this tier and send me the video, the 5-minute video, whether you upload it to YouTube and send me the link, or we could figure out other ways as well once we get to this stage. and then I'll feature you on the stream. So it's open to all sorts of artists. It's not limited. So if you know people who might not be into illustration but would like to promote, tell them about this Patreon page. Let them know what's going on here. Send it to them. Let them read through it. It's going to be a fun way to create a community, create people who know each other's work, know each other's artists, and we can just grow the community from here. What else is there on here? There's a bunch of other things on here as well for you guys to read through. So make sure you read through it to get a better idea of all different tips, etc. I'm trying to give a brief overview so I don't waste enough more time on the stream. I'll do another extensive one at some point during next week. Like I'm going to dedicate, instead of doing it 5 days like I have been doing recently, I'm going to dedicate like 1 or 2 days just to have new viewers be more familiar with the Patreon page. Then we got the tier 4 private tutoring, and this is perfect for people of all skill level. So if you're just starting out, if you're an intermediate, if you're advanced, or beginner, it doesn't matter. Just send me something that you're working on, something that you want me to critique, something that you want me to help you improve, you know, anything of that sort. And I will send you 4 videos per month catered specifically to you, dedicating 30 minutes. I'm always going to shoot for 30 minutes. Could be less depending on how much work you've done. So make sure you put in a lot of work, and I'll go over it in the videos. There's going to be homework because I do want you guys to improve. You know, really, the whole point of it is so that you guys can excel and get better and express yourselves even more. So that's what that's going to be there for. So that way I'll also have more content and more things to talk about on the stream when I'm sending you guys these videos. You'll also get a private Discord channel dedicated just for you. So when you join the stream, this tier, I'm going to create a channel. It'll be just between me and you. Nobody else can have access to it. So you could leave me comments, you could leave me questions, you could leave me your progress, and I will either get back to you or talk about it on the video that I'm going to send you for that week. So yeah, read through it as well. If you're interested in this tier, there's more info on here, and you can always ask me questions to get a better idea. You'll get a PSD file also with whatever it is that I worked on. That way you could look through it yourself, take your time, try to follow the work on there, or try to make the changes yourself without having the layer there, that sort of thing. You'll also get access to tier 4 members only Discord channel. So everybody that's on this tier is going to have their own channel to interact with each other, and you'll also get the access to the general Discord server. So there's like the general server where everybody from all tiers, all social media can come into one room, and then there's going to be one that's exclusive to each tier. Not so much for the Kickstarter patrons unless they want one, but you know, the tier 3, tier 5, and the tier 4 and 5 are going to have their own private Discord channel in addition to the general Discord channel as well. And then you get your Patreon name listed in the credits, and you're going to be part of the Patreon only community. All these things are going to be available for $65 per month. And that pretty much sums it up, guys. Any more questions, ask away, and I'll write you back. So with that said, let's jump into the stream. Spent already 20 minutes on it. I'm trying to get faster at it, so that way it's like 10 or 15 minutes at max. I ended up doing more work last night on this butte, and I'm liking the results. I am digging it. I don't know if I want to see it that way, but she really does remind me a lot of Kim Control, the young Kim Control. gonna try to just do a little bit of fixing here and there. Like I'm pretty satisfied with the tattoo. But there are certain things that I just want to fine tune. And then get into the next stage of like inking it the way I'd like. So I'm gonna do probably more work on the jewelry, fix up the hair. That sort of thing. I think I could make better lines for the hair. It's pretty messy. I just kind of wanted to fill in space, you know, and just really get the ball moving, get the ball rolling. I don't know if you guys could see it, but there's a delay there. I'm gonna increase the opacity, maybe lower the anti-aliasing. I'm not sure what's causing this drag. Maybe that was it. It was really annoying. Yeah, it's gone. Thank God. Oh, that was so frustrating. Adjust by speed. I don't know why that's there. But whatever. Maybe at some point in the future I'll figure it out, the importance to it. But right now that was awful. I'm making all these changes. Yesterday I changed the nib, so now I'm kind of getting used to how smooth it is. Like I'm fighting it less. So it's a bit of a learning curve. Yeah, that's about right. That looks good. And again, I'm gonna be inking over it, so it should be alright. But these lines are unacceptable. Even though the entire intent was to just sketch things out, not really dedicate myself to anything in that stage. I'll tell you, I'm so glad I worked out that dragging. It's kind of helping me like speed things up a little bit. Because before I was just like way too aware of like the speed difference. I was trying to like keep up with the drag, really, as opposed to going past it or beyond it. So if you guys are noticing that this is Clip Studio Paint, so if you're noticing that your line work is dragging a bit, like the mouse is ahead of the line that you're making, check out the tools property. I'm using a pen, and I'm using a G pen, and I just unticked the adjust by speed, and now it's very smooth. It's keeping up with my actual brush stroke. Or pen stroke. Actually curious, now that I've adjusted the speed, maybe I could even increase the anti-aliasing on it, and it's okay. The other benefit actually that I've picked up, well, this is something that I've been aware of for some time, you know, when I'm doing my own personal work, and I am inking, or even like in the sketching phase, like I've noticed that the width of the line is so important. For it to really kind of be a gradual difference. Let's say some people like to do like the exterior of, let's say, a facial feature to be a certain width, and then the interior, like the details and stuff, they're like really thin lines, and that stark difference really turns the image into something good, or kind of bad, you know. or just like not aesthetically pleasing. It's just so jarring of a difference between the lines that it doesn't look good. And what I mean is, for example, like here, the width of this, right? This isn't incredibly thin. Like, where are we at? 12 right now? So I'm gonna remember that. Like if I started doing little details with that sort of thinness, it doesn't look good. I don't know. That's subjective. I think depending on how you use it, it might end up looking well. But I've just noticed that it doesn't really look good. I think really it more has to do with like the confidence of the lines, like how well do the lines look. Does it look like you're struggling with each one of them? Or do the lines have confidence and direction, actually? Like, they hold to the contour of whatever it is that you're drawing. So what I mean is, like, for instance, these lines are following the curvature of the hair. That's the contour lines. They're not just like straight lines indicating shadows. It's feathering done in consideration to the movement of the hair. And I'll show you guys examples in the future when I find an image that really demonstrates that, like how people are using really thick lines and also using really thin lines for details, and how that kind of ruins the image. I'll show you guys examples, or I'll talk about what else about the image that makes it that kind of ruins it. Times that I've noticed it, it's just coupled also with like poor anatomy. You know, the person doesn't really pay attention to the anatomy at all, and they are just fudging muscles and just putting in shadows for muscles that just don't make any sense. Like almost muscles that just don't even exist, but the shadow is there just to show bulk, you know, like bulking muscles. And as I've mentioned, like, I think we all have this like internal judgment of when things look right, when it comes to anatomy, when it comes to perspective. Like, even if you're not an artist, you just kind of recognize subconsciously there's this like innate sense of judgment or recognition when something is slightly off. We might not be able to pinpoint it because that person is not an artist. They don't really pay attention to these little details, but they know that something is off. It's like the eye test, basically. And sometimes there have been people who are drawing and their work doesn't pass the eye test. You know, people could just spot instantly and be like, that's off. Like, the muscles just don't, there's something off. I think that's why it's important to learn anatomy, like to draw from real life, to draw people, to study their muscles, so that you understand and learn them in ways that will pass the eye test. You know, people will be like, oh, well drawn, really grasps anatomy. think that's what really skyrocketed John Buscema's work as well, is because he really understood it so well. And the viewers, not everybody that liked the comics that he was drawing, not everybody that loved Conan was an artist, but when they saw Good Anatomy, they recognized it. I mean, that's basically one of his biggest specialties, is how well he was able to render the figure. And Alex Raymond. I mean, Alex Raymond was his influence. And if you guys missed it, Alex Raymond was the creator of Flash Gordon back in like 1930s. I did a little intro about that, so if you guys take a look at the either the Channels collection, not Channels collection, the Highlights collection. I have a Highlights collection on Twitch in the video section, and it says Alex Raymond intro, where I just give you guys a better idea of who he was. Flip through the book that I have, that I got from comic book store, that really gravitated towards me. When I got it, I had no idea that it influenced John Buscema. Like, I was already a big fan of John Buscema. I have this collection as well as different comics. But I didn't know Alex Raymond. I just saw the cover of Flash Gordon. I was like, I really like this style. I like how he captures face expressions. I like how he draws the figure. Yeah, and he influenced John Buscema. I found that out later. Like, after I did some research, I was like, whoa. Also, Jack Kirby. He influenced Jack Kirby and George Lucas. So his influence for Star Wars came from Alex Raymond. Came from Flash Gordon. I don't think that it was just Alex Raymond. I believe the writer for Flash Gordon also influenced George Lucas. I think it was just both, like the entire book. And that's the thing about comics, is that you can't give the writer credit for a comic book and not the artist. Like, it wouldn't be a comic book if there was no art there. If there were no pictures, there was no illustration, you know. So you can't have one without the other. You can't have well, it's still actually a debate. I would say that's up for debate. Can a comic book be a comic book if it's just images, if there's no text? Not to discredit a writer, but just on that note, you know, there could be just comics that have no text at all, and it's just images to represent them. But my point was that, you know, you can't say, oh, it was the writer who really made the comic a comic. It's both, you know. Comic book is predominantly about the images as well. If it's not about the images, then it's just a novel, right? And it's just a book. What distinguishes comics from books is the fact that there are images there. And I kind of also say that to the credit of John Buscema as well, because I feel like Stan Lee, he created stories, he created the characters, but John Buscema also made them into comic book characters. It wasn't just Stan Lee, and I found that he didn't get as much credit. Like, there isn't that much about John Buscema. You know, there's very limited info about him, and yet he was responsible for so many of the characters. He drew pretty much every single Marvel character. Yeah, there was so much that he's done, and I feel like he really should have had more credit, more info about him out there, considering how many people really loved all those comics. And from the sounds of it, they had a pretty tumultuous relationship. It's looking better. Cleaning up all these lines here. Can't say how much of a relief it is to have gotten rid of that lag. I'm trying a little bit of a different approach, slightly different, where I'm going to try and finalize the lines as much as possible, and then I feel like the next pass that I do, the next layer of, let's say inking layer, it's going to give me more room to really like play around with the lines, line variation, that sort of thing. And I think the line variation problem was also coming from that, coming from just not paying attention to the brush size whenever I would sit down to draw. So each time it was like a different setting. One day it was like 6, next day it was 12, the other time it's like 14. And I just wasn't, and this is a while ago, you know, this is something that just reminded me doing all this stuff. Yeah, just once I started getting more consistent, and it was by accident, might have been by accident, where or maybe not, I don't remember, to be honest. It was some time ago. Once I started to pay attention to the line variation, the width, my work really started to improve. Like the quality of it got better. Don't want to make her head too big. Trying to see if that's if it's right. I'm gonna stick to it. I don't wanna add another layer. Ooh, and I also gotta work on her eyes too. I guess I'm leaving that as like the best for last kind of scenario, because she really does have very unique eyes. I like that. She has like greenish gray, not blue. Like I'm looking at them now, they're definitely not blue or a shade of blue. It's like a green gray, and more towards the gray side. It's gonna be pretty cool to bring that out in colors. And that's a color that I don't see for eyes. like a natural color of gray. So probably aside from her looking like Kim Cattrall, I also probably gravitated to the fact that she has this unique eye color. I really hope that more social media comes out. That's going to be a challenge for Instagram. Like, I really don't like that it's Meta, or Meta owns it, and I also don't like that one platform has a monopoly on social interaction. I think that's so dangerous. I think Tumblr really needs to pick it up. Pick up the pace, man. Get better. We need like social media platforms that don't cater to corporate values and corporations or Republicans or any of that. They already have enough social media that's catering to them. And these businesses need to snap out of their monopoly. That's just getting so tyrannical. If there are more platforms that challenge their position and like sway users to their platform, they're gonna clean up their act. Or not in sync. You know, I'm glad that Twitter didn't end up getting sold. But the fact that they wanted to, and they didn't really care who they're selling to as long as it was a lot of money. I don't agree with that. I think it's really crappy. I think people just need to veer away from this idea that money is everything. Like I mentioned in a previous stream, like AOC doesn't take any money from lobbyists or any of these like big corporations or anything. Her entire her motivations come from wanting to see progress, wanting to improve conditions, wanting to eliminate ongoing ridiculous problems like racism and greed, all this other stuff, just being a progressive person. And as I mentioned before, it's not that money is a problem, it's how people use it, their values, and what sort of principles they're following. The kind of values that are being echoed in schools and jobs and industries and all that. It's just money is all that matters. And that's absolutely not true. It's brainwashing, and it makes people into sociopaths, where they're just like, I don't care about anything. I'll do whatever, and I'll say whatever, and I'll act however to make money. That's so dangerous. Like, we have to stop putting that on the pedestal. And that's the problem right now, is that because of this broken economic system that basically tells everybody money is on the pedestal. Everybody should be worshiping it. And this is why we are where we are right now. Because those with it were able to just dictate everything regardless of how people felt about it. It's like, oh yeah, if you want to give me that money, sure, I'll murder babies. I don't care. Tell me that's not crazy. I mean, they all voted against baby formulas. They didn't care. It's an unsustainable system. It's producing more and more crazy behavior. And people are turning into terrible people because of those values. So, like, as I mentioned before, it's not about the money, it's about the fact that what kind of values are being echoed. Now, like, cars are also really important. We're not going to eliminate cars because people are being terrible with them and they're doing stupid things. We're just going to create better laws, better quality cars, better regulations, that sort of thing, to prevent that sort of behavior. People have to be responsible with cars. They have to follow rules and regulations because it's going to affect other people. It's going to create problems. It's going to ripple effects on roads and all sorts of stuff. So it's the same idea with money. It's responsibility. Just because you have it doesn't mean you could do whatever you want and act however you like. And if people won't tolerate that with cars, they shouldn't be tolerating it with money either. They're tools. All of them are tools. Cars are tools. Money are tools to be able to do certain things, to achieve certain things. Same thing with cars. They're tools for us to be able to do and achieve certain things. There isn't really a difference there, and it's just greed. Greed, terrible values, and each person choosing money over those values. Because there aren't really any consequences, because they know capitalism is in effect and more businesses are following that model and more businesses are all about profit. So they know there isn't much penalty for it. There's way more people who are just as greedy and crazy as them who will support them than there are who fight against it and say, hey, this is destructive and it's nasty. You're creating nasty people and I'm not going to support it. You're nasty people. Goodbye. Like, more people should be doing that. The same way as with cars and regulations on that. Like, yes, you have a car. Doesn't mean you could do whatever you want. Follow the rules and regulations, or get your car impounded, or get crazy amount of tickets and jail time because you don't care about what you're doing around other people and what kind of effect you're having, and the fact that you're killing people because you're just not driving safely or don't don't care to follow those regulations. It's just an example of how it's not about actually the tools themselves, it's what people find acceptable and what they're fighting for or not. Like, just because somebody comes along and says, well, that's how things are, you know, that's how things are on the road. The rules of the road. It's like, no, I'm not okay with that. You have to be responsible. And considerate to others. And that's how we have safe rules, regulations, and action taken against people who choose not to, or create insane driving scenarios. Like some of the videos that I see on YouTube and the way people drive and the stuff that they do, I'm just like, oh my God, how did you pass the driver's test? How do you have a license? Anyways, y'all, that's my rant. That's my anti-capitalist rant. I will continue to have them. There's plenty of them. I absolutely despise that system. I think it's disgusting. But that's enough for this stream. I am gonna end the project stream here, and I will be back in just a few to do coloring comics, where I'm gonna be coloring John Buscema's Conan the Barbarian using color pencils still. I'll come back to watercolor. I believe it's going to be next week. But just a note, I won't be streaming on weekends anymore. It's going to be just during the week in the evenings. Just because I got projects coming, and I have to dedicate that time to those projects instead. And hopefully at some point in the future, some point in the near future, I will change back to doing it more frequently. But stick around, stay tuned. There's going to be updates. I'm always going to keep you guys posted on what's going on. If there's any changes, you're going to know about it. I will, just as I am talking about the Patreon page, I will make sure to keep you guys up to date on any other type of changes coming in the future. All right, y'all, stick around. I'll be right back in 5 minutes.